One way to estimate sums and differences is to round the numbers in the equation. When we round, we can use numbers that are the closest multiples of 10 or 100. A lot of the times, you'll see an equation that says round to the nearest 10 or 100. For our first example, we are going to round the numbers in the equation to the nearest 10. Make sure you have a pencil and paper and you're ready to write with me. The first example is 101 minus 17. Our job is to now round both of these numbers to the nearest 10 so it's easy for us to make an estimate. Look at 101. If I round that to the nearest 10, it's going to round down to 100. 17 is going to round up to 20. The rounded numbers 120 are the closest multiples of 10 to the numbers in the original equation. This is going to make it easy for us to subtract mentally and see that the answer is 80. So an estimated answer for 101 minus 17 is 80. The real answer to 101 minus 17 should be close to the number 80. Check your answer and see if we are correct. 101 minus 17 is 84. Is 84 close to 80? Absolutely. That means our estimate was pretty accurate. When you guys were in second grade, you guys worked with open number lines. Who can remember what an open number line is? An open number line is a line on which you can indicate points with tick marks and labels. And remember, the numbers on a number line must be in order and have an implied origin or a number in the middle. We are going to use open number lines to help us round our numbers. Get your pencils up and ready to write with me. Our next example is going to tell us to round 54 to the nearest 10. Our first step is going to be draw a straight number line. I want to see who can make a straighter number line than me. Next, we're going to draw little tick marks on both sides of our line. This is going to represent the smaller and the larger number. Then we're going to make one in the middle as well. Now we're going to figure out what two multiples of 10 are the closest to 54. If you need help doing this, you can use your number grid that's located in the first page of your workbook, or you can skip count by tens to decide. The two multiples of 10 that are the closest to 54 are 50 and 60. We're going to write that in on our number line. So we're going to put 50 to the left because it's smaller, and we're going to put 60 to the right because it's larger. Now I need to figure out what's going to go in the middle. What number is exactly in between 50 and 60? Who knows? That's right, it's 55. Now the next thing we have to figure out is, where does 54 fall on this number line? 54 comes before 55. So I'm going to make a little tick mark just before 55, and I'm going to write 54. So my question to you all is, 54 closer to 50 or 60? Circle the number that you think is correct. If you said 50, you're absolutely correct. So that means that 54 rounded to the nearest 10 is 50. Let's try another example. This time we're going to round the number 168 to the nearest 10. This one's a little different because there are 3 digits in this number. So, what digit is in the tens place of 168? If you said 6, you're absolutely correct. The value of 6 in this case is 6 tens or 60. So now we have to find two multiples of 10 that are closest to 168. Be ready to write with me. Once again, we're going to make a number line. Hopefully yours looks better. And we're going to add our 3 tick marks. Go ahead and take some time to do that. Now we need to figure out the two multiples of 10 that are closest to 168. That's going to be 160 and 170. Now we need to figure out what's going to go in the middle. What number goes directly in between 160 and 170? 165. Now let's figure out where 168 goes on this number line. 168 is bigger than 165, so we're going to write it just a little bit close to 170. So when we're rounding 168 to the nearest 10, is it going to be closer to 160 or 170? Circle the answer that you think is correct. If you said 170, give yourself a high five. 168 rounded to the nearest 10 is 170. You guys are so smart that I think I should give you an even harder problem. This time we're going to round 325 to the nearest 100. What number is in the hundreds place in 325? Three. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before, and we're going to make a number line to help us round 325. Go ahead and make your straight line, add your 3 tick marks. Now let's figure out what two multiples of 100 are the closest to 325. You may use your number grid in your workbook if you need to. The two multiples of 100 are going to be 300 and 400. What number goes directly in between 300 and 400? That's right. 350 is between 300 and 400. Once again, we need to figure out where the number that we're rounding falls on the number line. Where does 325 go on this number line? 325 is directly between 300 and 350. So now we have to figure out, is 325 closer to 300 or closer to 400? $325 is closer to 300. So we would round 325 down to 300. When rounding to the nearest 10, you may have seen some people look at what digit is in the ones place. If that number is 5 or greater, then they round to the next multiple of 10. If the number is 5 or less than 5, then they round down to the next multiple of 10. In this case, the digit in the ones place is 5, which means we're going to round up to the next multiple of 10, which is 40. If you have a 3-digit number, then you're going to look at the number in the tens place. If that number is 5 or greater than 5, then we're going to round up to the next multiple of 100. If the number is less than 5, then we're going to round down to the next multiple of 100. In this case, the number is 5, so we're going to round up to the next multiple of 100, which is 400. Now go ahead and give it a try on your own and practice a few more of these problems.